Mary Magdalene's secret teachings. What were they hiding? Throughout history, Mary Magdalene has remained one of the most fascinating yet controversial figures in religious tradition. Was she a misunderstood follower of Jesus, or was she a spiritual leader whose wisdom was intentionally silenced and erased? What if her story hides a treasure trove of profound teachings that could reshape how we view spirituality, empowerment, and divine connection today? In this video, we journey through history, scripture, and speculation to uncover the truth behind Mary Magdalene's secret teachings and why they were kept hidden for so long. Let's start where most narratives begin, with misunderstanding. For centuries, Mary Magdalene's image was distorted, often reduced to a repentant sinner or a woman of questionable morality. This characterization, though entirely fictional, took root in the 6th century when Pope Gregory I officially labeled her a prostitute, a misconception carried forward in texts, sermons, and artwork for generations. But the biblical Mary Magdalene tells a different story. She is one of the most devoted disciples of Jesus, present at his crucifixion and the first to witness his resurrection. In fact, her presence during these pivotal events suggests she held a position of deep trust and prominence. Her role as the first to proclaim Christ's resurrection earned her the title Apostle to the Apostles, a recognition at odds with the diminished persona often portrayed in traditional accounts. So, why was her true identity obscured? To answer that, we must turn to the rediscovery of her teachings, the fragmentary but powerful glimpses found in ancient long-hidden texts. The discovery of alternative Christian texts, particularly the Gospel of Mary, has reignited interest in Mary Magdalene's spiritual legacy. Unlike the canonical Gospels, the Gospel of Mary reflects a mystical, deeply personal understanding of spirituality. This text, likely written in the 2nd century, portrays Mary not just as a disciple, but as someone who received hidden wisdom directly from Jesus. Key elements of her teachings focus on inner transformation, spiritual awakening, and transcending material attachments, all revolutionary ideas for their time. Mary emphasizes the importance of looking within to find answers, a concept often contrasted with more rigid and hierarchical forms of religious practice. Was she teaching something so spiritually empowering that it posed a threat to early church authorities intent on consolidating power? Mary's teachings also advocate for harmony between the physical and divine, the masculine and feminine. This balance, often missing in patriarchal interpretations of religion, adds to her significance as a figure of unity and wholeness. While Mary Magdalene has traditionally been depicted as just another follower of Jesus, alternative accounts suggest she held a much higher role within their spiritual circle. In the Gospel of Mary, for instance, she comforts and teaches the other disciples after Jesus' death, guiding them to overcome fear and doubt. Some scholars interpret this as a sign of her leadership, positioning her as not just a student of Jesus' teachings, but a master of them. This raises a provocative question. Could Mary Magdalene have been Jesus' spiritual equal? Some traditions even speculate that she could have been his confidant, partner, or wife. These ideas, while controversial, point to the profound trust and regard Jesus may have had for her, a dynamic that threatens the rigid, male-dominated narratives of early Christianity. But centuries of suppression and erasure followed. As church orthodoxy became more firmly rooted in patriarchal structures, figures like Mary Magdalene fell victim to systematic marginalization. Many of her teachings and perhaps even her leadership role were dismissed or outright discredited. To understand why Mary Magdalene's teachings were suppressed, we have to examine the broader cultural and political dynamics of the time. Early Christianity existed in a world already steeped in patriarchy, where male authority and dominance often overshadowed the notion of spiritual equality. Mary Magdalene's teachings, which emphasized balance between the masculine and feminine, posed a direct challenge to these ingrained systems. In many ways, her role and her wisdom reflected the sacred feminine, a necessary complement to the sacred masculine often emphasized in religious practices. But empowering the feminine meant loosening the stranglehold of patriarchal control. Over the centuries, church leaders systematically removed or diminished references to strong female figures like Mary Magdalene. Her teachings, which encouraged independence and direct spiritual connection, may have been seen as threatening to the hierarchical structure of organized religion. By erasing her role and promoting the false image of her as a sinner, the sacred feminine symbolized by Mary Magdalene was suppressed. Yet, these very teachings remain as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. Mary Magdalene's legacy is no longer just a historical issue. It is a reflection. It is a reflection of the spiritual awakening happening in today's world. As traditional dogmatic systems of faith are questioned, people are seeking more personal, inclusive, and transformative paths. This is where Mary Magdalene's teachings become deeply resonant. Her focus on inner transformation aligns with modern spiritual movements advocating self-discovery and introspection. She believed that divinity could be found within each individual, a concept that empowers us to take responsibility for our spiritual growth rather than relying on external intermediaries or institutions. Mary also represents a bridge between the masculine and feminine, offering a healing and balancing perspective for a world still grappling with issues of equality and disconnection. Her voice rises not just as one of faith, but as one of empowerment, reminding us that the sacred exists in all of us regardless of gender or status. In today's age, Mary Magdalene's story inspires a reclaiming of lost wisdom. Her teachings encourage us to seek harmony and wholeness in our spiritual and physical lives, an idea much needed in a fractured and polarized world. Looking deeper into Mary Magdalene's story raises critical questions. If the Gospel of Mary and other texts suggest she understood Jesus' teachings more profoundly than others, why wasn't that role preserved in mainstream Christianity? What does this censorship say about religion's relationship with power, truth, and inclusivity? Furthermore, if Mary Magdalene's portrayal in traditional texts was deliberately altered, what other knowledge has been lost or hidden throughout history? Would acknowledging the divine feminine of which Mary is a symbol transform how we approach faith and spirituality today? These questions lead us to understand the significance of her teachings and why they were possibly deemed too radical for their time. Beyond tradition, there are mystical and speculative theories about Mary Magdalene. Some esoteric traditions view her as an advanced spiritual teacher, capable of guiding others into divine union. In this light, her wisdom wasn't merely a support to Jesus, it was complementary, forming two halves of a deeper spiritual truth. Other theories propose she was Jesus' partner or wife, adding another layer of complexity to her role. While there's no definitive evidence supporting these claims, they underscore one thing. Mary Magdalene's story extends far beyond conventional narratives, pointing to a figure of immense significance that transcends a limited historical lens. Her teachings reflect direct connection to the divine, unmediated by institutional power structures, an idea that resonates deeply with modern seekers of spirituality. Reclaiming Mary Magdalene's story is about more than correcting historical misconceptions. It is about recognizing the transformative potential of her wisdom. Mary stands as a reminder that true spirituality cannot be confined by arbitrary boundaries. Her teachings embody empowerment, balance, and the courage to look within, a message the world needs now more than ever. In rediscovering Mary, we also rediscover the long-silenced voice of the feminine divine, reminding us of the importance of unity, wholeness, and respect for all expressions of the sacred. Today, Mary Magdalene challenges us to reconsider not only history but also our spiritual practices. What aspects of her teachings could help us become more connected, grounded, and awakened individuals? How can we learn from her example to challenge oppressive systems and reclaim our inner truth? By reflecting on her story, we are invited to abandon limiting beliefs and step into a more inclusive and empowering understanding of faith, one where the divine is not something distant, but something deeply personal and eternal. In exploring Mary Magdalene's secret teachings, we not only shed light on history, but also uncover profound wisdom that speaks to our lives today. Her story, far from being just a narrative of the past, is a call to action, to balance the sacred masculine and feminine, to seek inner connection, and to reclaim the truths that institutions may have hidden for centuries. Mary Magdalene's teachings were hidden, but they were never lost. They live on in those who dare to question, explore, and grow. So what were they hiding all along? Perhaps it was a truth too bright for its time, one that now shines for us to rediscover. Keep questioning, keep seeking, and let the wisdom of Mary Magdalene inspire your personal journey.